Welcome back to this episode of the Deep Penetration Podcast. My name is Danny, and I'm a love and self-esteem coach that works with the LGBTQ plus community. I work a lot with gay and bisexual men when it comes to all things that have to do with self-esteem, self-love, self-acceptance, and really learning how to cultivate and grow healthy and sustainable relationships. If this is your first time listening in or watching, please make sure you are subscribing wherever you are watching or listening from, right? So Spotify, YouTube, whatever the case may be, make sure you subscribe. It helps me to continue to do what it is I love, which is sit here and talk to you guys about subjects that I think are incredibly important, especially in the queer community, unpacking stereotypes, unpacking common misconceptions, and really kind of changing the narrative so we understand that healthy relationships are possible. That being said, that kind of segues me into what the episode is about today, which is the currency of love and how to not go bankrupt. I think love is a very powerful force that can, excuse me, get away. There's a bug flying around. Welcome to Florida. All right. Well, like I was saying, hopefully I don't swallow that bug in the middle of the episode. That would be cute. Anyways, so love can either be enriching, right? It can enrich our lives and bring, immeasurable joy and fulfillment. But have you ever stopped to really kind of consider the concept of emotional currency? We invest our emotions, our time, our energy into our relationships, hoping for a return on our investment. But just like financial currency, emotional currency requires careful management, and really being cognizant of our investments in order for us to not go bankrupt. So often I work with clients that are looking for the perfect relationship, and they are hyper focused on all the external aspects, wanting to make sure that everything looks perfect from the outside. And the question is why? And I think a big part of it is the desire for perfection is rooted in negative self-esteem and insecurities. So, I'm never surprised when I discover it when I'm working with clients one-on-one. You can have millions of dollars in the bank and still be bankrupt. Emotional currency is just as important as financial currency. And think about it. Every interaction you have with somebody, it's an exchange. They either bring value to your life or take value from your life. They either recharge you or deplete you. They either bring you joy or they frustrate you. Either way you look at it, there is an exchange that is happening there. And that exchange is tied to emotion. So I like to look at it like currency. A majority of clients I work with should have filed for emotional bankruptcy years ago, but they weren't even aware they were bankrupt. So the question is, are you emotionally bankrupt? And to answer this, we got to do a little digging, right? And the first thing we need to understand is the concept of emotional currency. If this is your first time ever hearing this, right? So what is emotional currency? Basically, it refers to the resources we invest in our interpersonal relationships, like affection, trust, and support, right? It involves both giving and receiving balance, right? A deposit or a withdrawal, and then creating a dynamic exchange that sustains the health and the vitality of our connections, just like financial currency does, right? So emotional currency requires a balance between giving and receiving. It involves understanding our own emotional needs and boundaries. That's incredibly important, as well as the needs of our partner to be able to achieve, mutual growth between the two of you or anybody who you are wanting to cultivate a healthy relationship with. The second thing is assessing your emotional investments. So take a moment to evaluate the emotional investments you're making in your relationships. Are you giving too much? And are you neglecting your own needs? Or are you withholding and depriving your partner from emotional support that they deserve, right? The goal is balance, as it is with anything in life. And in your emotional bank account, it's important to create a series of checks and balances, right? Which are boundaries to make sure that you are maintaining a healthy balance. No pun intended. Balance. Get it? Life balance, checking balance, whatever. Anyways, healthy emotional investments also involve just acts of kindness, right? Doing things that are fundamental in maintaining a healthy relationship. So again, communicating, listening actively, having empathy, having understanding, having patience. All of these things will contribute to the growth of the relationship, emotionally speaking and mentally speaking, and helps both of you guys to feel good, listened to, heard, validated, stable, safe. All of the key words that we're looking for when it comes to a healthy relationship. The third thing here is establishing boundaries and self-care, right? So I touched upon this a little bit before, but boundaries are essential to ensure your emotional well-being, right? So making sure that you're communicating your needs, your limits, your expectations to your partner, and that you're encouraging them to do the same. It's not all about you. It's not all about your needs. It's not all about what you want and what you need. It's also about what your partner wants and what they need, and then coming to the table and coming up with some compromises, right? That's going to be incredibly important. The next part of this is really respecting each other's boundaries and learn how to work together to find balance so that both of you feel seen and heard and validated. It's also very important to take time to self-reflect, right? And for self-care. Try new things, try new activities that bring you joy, practice mindfulness, practice self-compassion, nurture your own emotional well-being so that you can show up to the relationship 100%. Now, you're not going to be 100% all the time, right? I think this is an unrealistic expectation. What I mean by 100% is authentically yourself. I don't mean the amount of energy that you're putting out 24/7, because it's impossible to give 100% all the time 24/7. You will burn out. But you can authentically be yourself, right? So even on the days that you're not feeling great, it's okay to embrace that. It's okay to communicate that you're not having a great day. That's you being authentic, right? Remember this: you can't pour from an empty cup. So you have to fill your cup first. The fourth thing is effective communication. So practice active listening to genuinely understand your partner's emotions or their concerns or their needs. Create a safe space for that open and honest communication, free of any judgment or criticism and any of those things. It's important to validate one another so that you mutually feel cared for, respected, loved. Choose whatever words you want, but it's more so just about feeling equal within the relationship. And that's what communication does for a relationship. It allows you to feel safe and seen and heard and understand. And that is what, for me, if you ask me, is part of the foundation of any relationship, right? The fifth thing here is gratitude and appreciation, right? Regularly acknowledging and appreciating the emotional investments of your partner that your partner is making to the relationship. Expressing gratitude helps to create a space of positivity where in turn it makes your partner want to do the same. right? It makes them want to reciprocate. If you are showing gratitude and appreciation for your partner, it is likely that they will do the same as well, which means guess what? There's a balance in the relationship. There's mutual admiration and respect and care and attraction and desire and all of those things. And you'd be surprised how much of that can actually come just from saying, you know what? I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you do for me. I appreciate everything that you do for the relationship. So if you've not done that in a long time, do it. Try it. What's the worst thing that can happen? You know, if you ask me, I think only positive things can come from that. But you be the judge of that. So, what do I recommend? I mean, obviously everything that I've been giving you so far has been a recommendation, but I think that there's an important uh how do I put it? There's more. Let me give you some more focused recommendations that you feel you can apply starting today, right? I think that's an important part of this. So the first one is balance your emotional bank account. So it's important to assess whether your needs are being met and communicate openly with your partner to address the imbalances or the concerns. That's going to be huge, right? So working towards that growth together, towards that fulfillment, towards feeling valued and supported and emotionally nourished, and that's going to require you checking in with yourself. The second thing is practicing emotional awareness, right? To have that self-awareness and to try to understand where those emotions are coming from and why you're feeling the way that you do is very important, because if you are always just leading with emotion and there is no logic behind it, it's going to be very difficult for your partner to understand where you're coming from. So it starts with you being aware of yourself and your emotions, why you're feeling the way that you're feeling, and being able to develop a way of communicating those emotions in a productive way. The other thing here is embracing personal growth, right? So, like I said before, you can't pour from an empty cup. So, investing time in yourself, investing in self-care. And I know that sounds so like generic of what a life coach would say or a relationship coach would say, but at the end of the day, the reason why we talk about it is because it's true. It makes sense. It actually helps to change lifestyle and the way people perceive things and your mindset, and it helps to fulfill you, right? So if you were not happy or content with your life, if you are dissatisfied, if you are always stressed out and anxious and all of these things, that's what you bring to the table in the relationship. And that becomes very heavy over a period of time. So if you can just take some of the time, right, instead of prioritizing everything else and prioritize yourself a little bit, it is amazing what changes can happen within yourself and within the relationship. So if you have to, have a spa day. If you have to, go and get your hair cut to feel good, right? Trim up that beard. Join a gym. Start to exercise. Focus on your nutrition. Join a sports club. Do things that you have been wanting to do. You just haven't been able to cut out the time to do it, but make it a priority. Make it something that is important in your life, because I'm telling you, it will benefit you in ways that you can't even imagine until you're actually doing it, right? And I think the last part here for me is try to foster an emotional support network, right? A group of people that are supportive, that are your cheerleaders, that make you feel good, that lift you up, but are also real with you, right? The last thing that you need are people who are going to enable negative patterns of behavior or negative narratives that you have cultivated over the years, that you've how do I put it? That you've come to believe over the years, right? Find people who are going to challenge you. Find people who are going to bring value to your life in a positive way. Find people who are going to help you step outside of your comfort zone. But while they do those things, they also support you. They also lift you up. They also compliment you. They also make you feel good along the way. And I think that is what would really help you to make sure you do not go into bankruptcy when it comes to love and emotions and all of those things. Again, if it's a concept you've never really heard of, I think it makes sense, right? Life is an exchange. Interactions with people is an exchange, just like it is with money. And for some reason, well, actually, no, I know why, obviously. Everybody prioritizes finances. Everybody prioritizes money because at the end of the day, finances equates to survival, right? It equates to stability. It equates to comfort, to safety, and all of those things. But we also need to focus on other forms of currency, like emotional currency, to ensure that your experiences in life and your connections with people and your relationships matter and that they are fulfilling and that they also bring you a sense of safety and encouragement and comfort and stability, right? Because that is also very, very important. I hope you found this episode to be informative, educational, motivational, inspiring. I feel like I said the same thing every time at the end of the episodes, but we're all creatures of habit, right? Just like I talk about. So at least I'm being consistent and authentic. Anyways, make sure you're filling out the poll at the end of the episode. I leave a poll for every episode. I want to know what you guys have to say. And yeah, if you want to reach out for a coaching session, I am more than happy to support you. I help people all the time navigate the complexities of relationships and love and self-esteem and self-acceptance. I don't just create this podcast just to talk endlessly, right? Which I feel like I kind of do sometimes, but whatever, it's part of my job. Hopefully you enjoy listening. One would hope. But what I actually do is I am a coach. I am a self-esteem and a love coach. So I work with clients all the time in helping you create your best love story, but that involves some work. So if you're ready to get to work, if you're ready to get a little dirty, reach out to me, and we will create that tailored plan for you to finally achieve that love story that you have been wanting, not only with a partner but with yourself. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and thanks for sitting down and having a chat with me. I will see you in the next episode.